South Africa is witnessing yet another high-stakes moment in its ongoing fight against corruption and abuse of power within law enforcement. Because what is unfolding at the Madlanga Commission is not just testimony, it is exposure. Exposure of contradictions, hidden details, and a system that may be far more compromised than previously understood. At the center of the storm is Julius Mkhwanazi, the suspended acting chief of the Ekurhuleni Metropolitan Police Department, a man who until recently held significant authority within one of the country's key metropolitan policing structures. But now he finds himself under intense scrutiny. The pressure reached a breaking point during his appearance before the Madlanga Commission, an inquiry tasked with investigating serious allegations of corruption, criminal networks, and abuse of power within municipal policing structures. And from the very beginning, it was clear that this would not be a routine testimony. Under questioning, Mkhwanazi's version of events began to unravel, not gradually, but visibly, because as investigators pressed for clarity, inconsistencies started to emerge, statements that did not align, details that were missing, and answers that shifted under pressure. One of the most serious allegations involves a suspected robbery linked to precious stones, a crime that, if proven, would represent not just misconduct but organized criminal activity within a law enforcement structure. Mkhwanazi has firmly denied these allegations, stating clearly that he did not order any robbery and that he did not use officers under his command to carry out illegal operations. But the Commission's evidence tells a different story. At the heart of the case is a location in Rosebank, a property allegedly linked to the criminal activity under investigation. According to evidence presented, a vehicle connected to Mkhwanazi was captured on CCTV footage at the scene, a detail that immediately raises serious questions. When confronted with this evidence, Mkhwanazi's responses became increasingly inconsistent. At one point, he appeared to agree with the line of questioning, then he denied being present, and later he conceded that he may have limited the information he provided to investigators. This sequence of responses has become one of the most critical moments of his testimony because it directly impacts credibility. Leading the questioning was Sandile Khumalo, co-commissioner at the inquiry, who did not hold back, accusing Mkhwanazi of withholding key information and pressing him to explain the discrepancies in his statements. This level of scrutiny reflects the seriousness of the investigation because the Madlanga Commission is not just examining individual conduct, it is investigating whether there are deeper systemic issues within the policing structure, issues that could include corruption, collusion, and the misuse of authority. The timing of these revelations is also significant because they come just days before Mkhwanazi's reported arrest, a development that adds urgency to the situation and raises further questions about the strength of the evidence against him. But beyond the individual case, the broader implications are profound because this is not just about one official, it is about the integrity of law enforcement and public trust in institutions that are meant to protect citizens. In South Africa, concerns about corruption within policing structures are not new. There have been multiple cases over the years involving misconduct, abuse of power, and criminal infiltration, and each case has contributed to growing public concern. What makes this case different is the level of detail being exposed in a public forum, through testimony, through evidence, and through direct questioning. This transparency is important because it allows the public to see how the system responds. At the same time, it also highlights the challenges, because uncovering wrongdoing is only the first step. Ensuring accountability is the real test. For the authorities, the next steps will be critical. The arrest of Mkhwanazi suggests that the investigation has reached a decisive phase, but arrests alone do not resolve cases. They must be followed by thorough legal processes, evidence must be tested, and conclusions must be reached in court. For the public, the stakes are high because trust in law enforcement is essential for stability. Without it, confidence in the justice system weakens, and that has wider implications for governance and security. There is also a political dimension. Cases like this often become part of broader debates about governance, accountability, and reform, and they can influence public perception of institutions and leadership. Looking ahead, several key questions remain. Will the evidence hold up in court? Will more individuals be implicated? And will this case lead to broader reforms within municipal policing? Because if the issues uncovered at the Commission are systemic, then the response must be equally comprehensive, not just focusing on individuals, but structures, processes, and oversight mechanisms. As the situation continues to develop, one thing is clear: the Madlanga Commission has become a focal point, a place where serious questions are being asked and where the answers could have lasting consequences. For now, the story is still unfolding, testimony continues, investigations proceed, and the legal process is just beginning. But the impact is already being felt. Because moments like this shape public understanding, they influence trust, and they define how institutions are judged. In the end, this case is about more than allegations. It is about accountability, about whether systems can confront wrongdoing and whether justice can be delivered. And as South Africa watches closely, the outcome of this case will send a message about the rule of law, about integrity, and about the future of law enforcement in the country.